All right, welcome back to Resilient Voices and Beyond. Before y'all get at me, it's been a minute. Life has been life, and I'm pretty sure it's been that way on y'all end. But I'm excited to be back. This is season 3, episode 32. I remember the episode this time, so don't talk about me. But I'm excited for our guest today. We've been trying to get this connected for a little bit of time, and we're finally here. So, without further ado, I'm going to introduce myself for those who may just be stumbling across the path. My name is Michael D. Davis Thomas. I spent approximately 11 years in the Michigan child welfare system. Been advocating since aged out, working in various different positions from residential work to work along social workers to legislators to more, which has brought me to here to uplift the many different voices of resilience and those who have survived many different things and be able to share that voice so you guys out there can learn, grow, heal, or just listen. So that's me, but y'all not here for me, you know, as much as I would love to just talk. I'm gonna allow my guest to introduce herself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Maryum. Um, I'm not sure. So my name is Mary. Not you laughing. Oh my goodness. I don't know. Oh, I do not like introductions, I promise you.
No, it's okay. You guys, this is Maryum. She is an advocate, various different things. But she gonna tell us a little bit about that. I kind of hit her on the spot, so
Yeah,
we gonna get
yes. I just knew I was getting an introduction today, but I guess not.
definitely. Well, if you are ready, I ask you our first question to kind of break the ice and get into it. Um,
Okay.
I know you have a little bit of a different experience, which brought you to connecting with me to be on here that you wanted to share. Um, so if it's not too straightforward to get into it, if you don't mind sharing with me and the audience, where did your story of resilience begin?
Okay. So today I'm 30-year-old Maryam, and my Brazilian experience happened probably about in my middle school years, but I actually took the faith and the leap to advocate more when I was about to enter that chapter 30. But short story long story short, 6-year-old Mariam was a victim of sexual abuse, molestation to be exact, of the hands of her uncle by marriage, and she had to deal with that in her own way. By showing up with a fake smile and just being strong. But 6-year-olds don't shouldn't have to hold that in and be strong and keep the quote unquote family secret. So that's what I could say.
Thank you for sharing that.
Mm,
Um,
thank you.
I know what you've been through impacted a lot of your work, what you say, you advocate now. And um, this that had been a big part of your life. Um, what has mental health like looked like? How have you coped? How have you dealt to be at the place where you are now to now advocate on behalf of the um, things and the abuse that you went
Mental health, there were some high days and I feel like there were some low days, but every day we showed up. Like I said, it was like a facade of being this happy person when honestly, I just wanted to know the truth. I wanted to know that I wasn't crazy. So let's say maybe like some manic days alone. That's what it felt like. Like, why do I see this image in my head if they told me it didn't happen? But I knew it happened. So I feel like mentally it was draining, it was overwhelming. but afterwards it was a release and like accomplishment. I feel like I was able to advocate for little Maryum in the best way that I knew how to. Although I didn't have conversations with everyone I wanted to have conversations with, um, I got to see people for who they were.
You gave me a lot right there. If you don't mind, look. I want to ask some off the end questions, because you dropped some gems about your story and what you went through. Um, and before I get into that, like you brought up something that came to mind about me and my experience. Went through a lot of abuse as a kid. Um, but when I got towards the end of my experience of care and getting towards 18, a lot of things became visual as I started opening those doors of healing and getting into my own, I guess, lifestyle, becoming an adult. And you brought up, having these images and these visualizations of like things like, oh, but they said this didn't happen. um, and that's crazy because I remember, not probably similar, but going through something like mine, like that as I turned 18, and then more so was on the aspect of, these things weren't just talked about. You don't talk about it. It got shrugged under the rug, you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
um,
Mm-hmm.
the whoever did it out there living their best life,
Yep.
and you also brought up another thing that came to mind, like having that conversation. Like for years, my mom and dad and some other people were a part of my abuse as a younger kid, and I always imagined like being able to sit across the table.
Mm-hmm.
It helped me
Mm-hmm.
understand why,
Yep.
and
Yep. And it was like to add on to that, it was more like so I'm not sure if anybody else were. Well, today I have learned I've had other people in the lineage of our family that has been a victim or a survivor of sexual abuse. But for my family that I came from specifically, like the next of my close family, from my understanding was no one. So I was able to forgive my mother and say, because she apologized.
mhm,
She didn't do it, but she apologized. And she wasn't, like awareness. She might have heard of the word advocacy, but what does that really mean? What do I have to do for my child to advocate for her? Like, what was the process? So that was another part. And I like how you said, you mentioned the secret that I mentioned, like it's the secret. We sweeping it under the rug. It was just like I'm holding on to that. And like you said, showing up to the event. So it was like normalized and I don't like that. Like now, because I know if I was, children supposed to stay in a child place, but I was the child that was abused. So I always like growing up also was like, she didn't speak to me. She didn't give me no hug. She didn't da 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 da. But nobody knows that I was abused because it was the family secret. So family members would call each other like, she was not hugging nobody. She didn't speak. And then I know like in my head some days I was just like I'm not in I don't feel safe to hug anyone. I didn't care if it was male or female. I just was like standoffish. So it's a lot that definitely goes into it.
like a cone of silence,
And
like.
yes, yes. It's a
Yeah,
lot. It's not just oh they were touched or oh they were tapped or oh they were fully fondled or whatever is it's in their head. It's stuck with us forever. It's a part of us. And I believe that's the part that makes the story just so beautiful. And when you feel comfortable enough to speak up, advocate, hold the next person's hand, it makes it a little bit easier. So I should have mentioned that also with my emotions. It's like a sense of release and a sense of like not quite accomplishment, but yeah, it is an accomplishment for me. It was because I always envisioned it, but I never knew how it would play out. So,
yeah.
yep.
I, yeah, I mentioned like the cone of silence, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like for myself, like in the generation being an African American male and just being a part of the Black community, it's a lot of stuff you don't say because you get stigmatized so much in society, by other cultures and other people and different things like that between race and cultures and different things like that. But I feel like for so many years, at least within my family, like people knew what was going on. They just
Mm-hmm.
didn't say anything. And I say that in a sense because as I grew up and went through the process to heal in my journey and continue to heal, I'm pretty sure if we see somebody a little smaller, a smaller kid at a function or what have you, and they a little bit, we gonna ask some questions. It may not
Mm-hmm.
automatically go to that thought, but we may ask some questions. But if we see some things, and it may be hints to our trauma or whatever we've been through, a
Mm-hmm.
red flag may go up. But you spoke about different things happening throughout the lineage and different people having some similar experiences. I know that to be true on my side as well. Why I always ask the question, why not band together? Why not be that separate voice? But um, as I grew up, I've learned that things weirdly happen, but um, I was meant to be that voice for my family, and it sounds like you have been that voice for yours.
Agreed. I try. I'm learning it. It's what they say, the black sheep. Is that it? Yeah, I think that's what they say.
Definitely. Well, you've shared a little bit with me about some of the work that you do, and not just advocacy, but where your passions have bloomed from. Um, you mind sharing a little bit about that and what you do now?
Sure.
What does life look like, and how do you merge, those two worlds together to
Okay, so most recently I graduated with my bachelor's of science from the illustrious Morgan State University, in a fashion merchandising degree. So I do have a passion for fashion and designing and sewing. I do obtain my associate's degree in fashion design as well. Um, in my free time, if I'm not sewing or shopping or sleeping, or in a book because I love to delve into a book. I am volunteering with nonprofit in Baltimore City called Greenmount East Leadership Project, and the mission is to educate the youth on different career pathways like career readiness and empowerment. So right now I am a project manager for the summer. So I did it for 8 weeks. And on top of that, I go through like IEPs, behaviors in it, chat with them because they're inquisitive. They want to know what body parts do and what happen if I use them or use it incorrectly. Um, Alongside of that, I'm usually in the community some way, somehow, or back at Morgan, helping them with something.
well, congratulations first and foremost, your degree and getting that. I know that was a road in itself. And
Oh, and I didn't add traveling. I'm always traveling. Is if I'm in if I'm if I haven't exited the country, then something is going on. So I'm exiting soon. I haven't. I think I brought in a new year in Bahamas. Come to think about it, don't pay me no mind. I did. I have went somewhere, and I'm going to Ghana at the end of the year.
I love that.
Yep,
At some point in my life, I need to do a little bit more traveling. Um,
do it.
get
You
my
only get one life to live.
and get my life together with that. But I've been a couple places. Man. So you spoke about being in the community and doing a lot of work with that, and um, having this experience, been project manager for 8 weeks.
Yes. Well, it's more than 8 weeks. It's 8 weeks with the youth. I've been doing it since the first week of June, and it's going to end the last week of August. So what's that? 4, 8, 12 weeks? 12 weeks. But I also do it like I assist with it as I can help as I can because this is his first year getting funding. So that's why I say I'm
Mhm.
a I'm doing it for that one. But usually I just volunteer. He does a 8 days of giving program. I mean, yeah, you call it a program, and that's basically 8 days of uh developing a better you. So like one day might be self-care, and that would consist of somebody's going to braid your hair, somebody's going to give you a chair massage, someone's going to give you some vegan option foods. You're going to get a backpack and some getaways. Then the next day might be wellness. So we're going to do some yoga, we're going to do some workout fitness, like um then something might be creative expression day. So we have like a poet come in, an artist to teach them drawing. And then one day was like a STEM day. So we had someone from NASA come. We had engineer that makes beauty products. So she taught the younger girls how to make lip glosses and the ingredients. And then we had someone that called B360, and hers is it's still STEM, but it's dirt bikes because of Maryland, Baltimore. Baltimore is known for dirt bikes. So yeah. And then towards the last days, he gives out gifts to each youth, and they get like 10 gifts off their wish list. And then the last day we go to National Harbor and go to the ice experience. That's just December. So in the summertime, we have an entire every Saturday we meet up and do fitness from like what is it, 9 to 12. And then in the after school program, he has a fitness program for after school as well as tutoring, homework, and we're working on what are we working on? Mentorship now, like having them lined up with a person who they can actually buddy call if needed. Like I guess like if a crisis come up or they don't feel comfortable speaking with someone. Yeah. But oh, also I like that over these what week are we on? I don't know what week we are on, but yesterday, we have girls, so they're 13 to 19, but none of the girls are 19. I do know that much. And I posed the question to them, asking them like, who do they feel safe talking to? Is there any staff member that you just don't want to talk to, or you don't like how they talk to you, or any of their peers? And my name came up multiple times. And it was like a praise sort of, because with the things they would say, like, she's relaxed, but she's determined. She's serious with us. She will joke with us, but she doesn't cross a boundary with the joking. It was like she's a mom figure. She treats me like my mom does. Like she can have a conversation with me and know when to switch it on and off to bring in the empathetic or the empathy. So this these these 8 weeks with the youth have definitely been different. I've experienced burnout a lot, but I think it's more so because I wasn't that youth. I grew up in similar communities as them, but I don't know. I'm not sure what it is. Maybe it's like how my mother kept us together. And it's not all of them, but yesterday was pretty cool to know how they actually felt about me.
So, yeah, I hear you. You mentioned that you guys do like self care, and then towards the end you mentioned burnout. So
Self-care.
I got,
Yep, yep.
what does self care look like for you in those times? As you're doing this work and traveling and
I'm gonna just flip my head with this one because I have no clue what self-care looks like these last 8 weeks. It feels like a complete burnout every day. And again, I can only imagine what the Baltimore City's teacher or the Baltimore teachers feel like, because being in these 8 weeks alone made me remember, like, yes, ma'am, you can never be a teacher. And it's just a lot to it's a bunch of confusion and they're teenagers. So self-care for me right now, I feel like it's non-existent, but I have placed a spa day immediately after the 8 weeks are up. And I just need a Oasis feeling. Zen, no D&D. Don't call me unless you're my child. He can call me anytime. I'll put on a different hat just for him. But That's what it's feeling like. But usually after work, I try to keep my do not disturb on and have a cup of tea. Lately, I've been watching television. I'm not a television girl, but just hearing the television in the background makes me feel like I'm watching the show and a little bit at peace.
I feel that. Well, I want to ask you just a few more questions.
Oh, that's fine.
My next question is, having your experience then and then working, doing the work and getting into what you're doing now and, giving back, really giving back to the community, work on that self-care though.
We're gonna work on that self-care because this burnout I am not used to. I even said I'd rather go get another degree because I never felt like this. The way I'm feeling these, what is it, 4, maybe 5 weeks so far? Never experienced this. I said I will get 1,000 degrees before I come back here. That's how it says. And then one of the youth, hey Miss Yum, I appreciate you. And it's just like, oh, I gotta come back.
I feel it. Um, Speaking of which, I want to ask what's next for you on this journey, as you continue to grow, continue to heal, continue to learn, what are your pursuits for the future? Um,
So I was accepted and back into Morgan to pursue my MSW, with a concentration of urban youth and families. Um, but I decided to decline it only because my passion is sewing and I'm just getting into this advocacy portion, but I still want to delve into it a bit. I just don't want to pursue my MSW per se. Um, Besides that, I aspire to do my design and I think you asked me this, but I never answered it. So I come from a single parent household. It was my mother, my sister, and I, and funds were tight. Funds were tight. So I taught myself how to sew, and I felt like that was my way to help. And not only did it help probably a little bit financially, it helped me. That was my release. That was my way to express how I was feeling with different patterns and different fabric textures and different looks that I would come up with. That was my way to, like, growing up, that was my way to release. And journaling is essential to me. I have journals from when I was around that age, and a lot of them spoke about that experience and how I just couldn't understand why someone could be such a coward and not want to speak up or like tell the truth. But yeah.
okay, okay.
So for me, long story short, I'm going to stick to designing. I'm going to stick to giving my prom gowns away each season because I know what it feels like to not be able to almost go to prom because you don't have something that makes you feel the best. So that's what I'm going to keep doing. And I'm going to keep doing my work in the community. And I'm going to keep going to different events that advocate for those who feel like they don't have a voice or not ready to speak up. Since I've spoken up publicly on socials, because my family and immediate friends already know, I've been getting a lot of messages and thank yous, and they're confiding to me, and it's just a lot. It's like a whole nother world. So I always let people know, like, you'll lose people, but you'll gain a whole new gang of new people.
Yeah. I really love that you kind of put yourself in fashion and sewing and everything. Like I challenge you if you don't mind me saying, I challenge you to, build into that space. You know, much like this podcast and many of the things I've done in the past, it's a little bit unorthodox to the advocacy I grew up with. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it looked a little bit different than what everybody else was doing. and you could do the same, but with fashion,
Agreed.
with design.
Agreed. Yeah. So my plan with the MSW was to create another business, and instead of like play therapy or what is it called? Like meeting one-on-one therapy or group therapy, it was going to be soul therapy.
Okay.
And they would so we would come up like I would come up with different patterns. Like we would probably do a patchwork pillow or create a teddy bear by the end of their session of however long it was. I would make the difficulty of creating the item if they were up to it. Because I know some people in therapy, they're not really up to it. And we would like, talk it out that way. That's what my vision was, is. But since I do not really want to pursue the MSW, I'm thinking of coaching, even though I know it's not really I mean, I gotta know to turn off things I can and cannot have. But I also in a space where I feel good. I feel like I know me and I really don't want to take on too much of other people's um experiences because I know it might trigger me and make me feel like their experience is mine. But if it's relatable, it's relatable. I can't help that I was given the heart that I was given. Can't help it. So
Definitely. Well, I appreciate you sharing, and I'm excited to see what the future holds for you and the work. Sewing is very therapeutic, designing is very therapeutic, and you get to um, you get to see what came out of something so beautiful, so masterful,
mhm.
so masterful. But I know for myself, I took a class where we got to like crochet and different things like that. And like all the pain, all the things I went through, you put it, it may sound bad to some, but you put it into, the design we're trying to do.
Yep.
It becomes something totally different. It becomes something beautiful. And it's much like,
It's like starting nothing into something. That's how I look at it. Because they be like, that piece of square is the dress now? And I'm like,
mm,
yes, it is. Or it's pants. I'm like, how? I'm like, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of it reminds me so much of life because you put them together and sometimes you got to take it apart and restitch it. I love it. I just love it. It's very therapeutic for me. Um, yeah.
well, any advice would you like to leave here today for those, may have similar experience or for everyone out there listening?
Um, I want to leave. If you or someone you know is a survivor, I'm just asking you to please tell someone, do not be afraid. Get help because help, it really does help. Hold your abuser accountable if you know who it is. Hold them accountable. Please hold them accountable. And don't normalize it. I don't care if you were a child. It's never too late. Um, keep your children and whoever that had to experience this away from their abuser. Um, again, once you speak up, you'll lose people and you'll gain a whole new gang of people. Um, and and love yourself. Always love yourself, and remember the rest will fall into place.
Thank you for sharing. I appreciate your vulnerability in this space and being open to being on here. It's really an honor and privilege to be able to hear your story and hear the great things that you're doing and will continue to do. Um, Really, the last question is more so a statement, whichever you want to call it, and it's really just asking how can people connect with you? How can people see the work that you're doing, or follow you, or reach out.
I would love to give everyone my phone number, but it's so delicate to me. I cannot. So if you're ever looking to connect, I am Maryum K. So at Maryum K. Maryum K. Shadid, Shadeed, on all platforms. Email, if you like, info at MaryumKShadeed.com. I plan to hopefully one day start a podcast. Not necessarily on this topic, but I do want to touch on it for sure. I don't want to niche down to a topic, but find me there.
It's truly an honor and a privilege to have you on. Um, I know we've been trying to get this together for a little minute.
For a little minute, a long little minute, uh, almost a year. It's like not quite, but close. It felt like a year. And I thank you for having me. I can't wait to come back. It's so much more I wasn't able to say, but I'll save it for another time.
And you're always welcome. I truly mean that. And even with the podcast, anything that I can do to support with that. But as I get ready to end this episode 32 of season 3 of Resilient Voices and Beyond, I want to, put this disclaimer out there that we touched on some things that, may be triggering, may have awakened some things in your own life, in your own story and journey. I just ask that, wherever you are, you just take a moment um, to, practice some mindfulness, ground yourself, breathe, decompress, find that one person that you can call to, just debrief, before you go into that next part of your day or what have you, because I know it can be a lot. But also, if this is, awaken some things that you haven't dealt with, and you want to take that journey towards healing, feel free to reach out to myself. I will be more than willing to help you find resources wherever you are, country, state, whichever. Or if you just need someone to listen and be there, feel free to reach out to my email attached to all the different platforms this podcast is on. Um, Outside of that, I know I was talking to you guys in the past about, taking a little break and writing a book. Where the book is done, we editing it, getting it together. I've been working with the Dream Makers Project, which they kind of came aligned and have connected with some people over there, and our visions aligned, and we've been working to get this out. It's a little bit different than what was expected, but I hope you guys, when it comes out, enjoy it. I'm a person of faith, so a lot of what I do goes into that journey and into that work. So I hope you guys enjoy that. Good morning, good night, good whenever you're listening to this, and talk to you guys soon. It's been Resilient Voices and Beyond. Thank you.